Hi, my name is FiveStar. I'm a longtime BDSM producer, bondage rigger, and lifestyle player, and this is Spank University. I'm here with my friend Jordan.
Hello.
And we're going to do a little BDSM negotiation roleplay for you today. How you doing, Jordan?
I'm okay. I'm new to all of this, so I know nothing. I know a little, but I don't know anything when it comes to anything but the basics.
Is there anything like that you've seen or heard about that you're interested in?
Yes. I mean, of course, I've seen a lot of stuff out there. I have experienced less in my personal life, so I'm interested in doing stuff that is, I think, pleasurable for both parties. I personally am not particularly interested in pain being inflicted on me or the other person, and I generally like dialogue and people laughing and having a good time and treating the experience as just a really good, fun, joyous time, which I assume can happen across the spectrum of what's available. But for me, that probably means more vanilla stuff.
Okay. So just dipping your toe in.
Yeah, I'm just getting started. Who knows? I could turn out to be a total freak. We'll see.
Awesome. Do you have any interest in bondage?
Yes. To me, bondage, I mean, from what I can understand, has a range of anything from whips and chains and latex masks to just basic arms and hands and limbs being restricted. And that does pique my interest a little bit.
Okay. So restriction.
A little bit of restriction.
Okay.
As a collector of Mexican wrestling masks, that is fun for me to wear in normal life.
Yeah.
I have not yet introduced that aspect into the bedroom, but I'm open. So.
Would you like to wear the mask, or would you like me to wear the mask?
That's a good question. I think I'd have to experience it to find out.
Okay, I'd love to wear the mask if you're open for that.
Yeah, let's try it.
Okay. Do you have any injuries I should be aware of?
I once had an entire shoulder replacement, but I should be okay.
Does that affect like where you can position?
It shouldn't. No.
Your arms or anything like that. Have you noticed like being in one position for too long can hurt your shoulder or any other part of your body?
No, but I am very aware of my physical body, and if something does start to feel a little off, I have no problem saying, hang on a second, my shoulder hurts.
Okay. Well, I've been playing with rope bondage for about 20 years. What I think the most important thing to remember is that I need you to communicate with me. So I'd love to tie you up in a position to make you vulnerable if you're open to being vulnerable.
Does that mean we're getting married, or are we still talking about ropes?
Just your body. Like maybe like splaying your arms.
Gotcha.
Opening your legs.
Sure. I'm open to it.
Okay. And so I would need you to, if I tie you up, I'd need you to be able to communicate with me if something hurts, like if you feel any sharp pain, anything. And there, you might feel a little bit of discomfort because, you know, you're stuck in a position.
Right.
A little bit of discomfort is okay, but if you feel like really sharp pain or kind of any tingling, just let me know and I'll give you a break.
Okay. How do you differentiate when you are restricted or tied up between, oh, this is tingling, this feels a little weird, but that's kind of the point, or that feels good, versus, you know, oh, wait a second, something is off. Is how do you know?
Well, tingling is is a sign of nerve damage, so I would say just let me know.
If something falls asleep, is that good, bad? Is that a concern?
We want to avoid things falling asleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me know if something falls asleep, and we'll give you a break and move your fingers.
All right. Good to know. Okay, so now you've got, I'm restricted or whatever. What happens if I change my mind in the middle of it? This is too much. Something doesn't feel right. What do we do?
When I'm playing with someone for the first time, I like an open dialogue. I don't want to do any resistance play. Like if you say no, I'll stop. Like we don't, just talk to me in plain English, and I will adjust the scene to what you would like.
I have been accused of being very verbose by several partners. If it comes to the point where we need to restrict my mouth so I can't talk, how would I communicate, like, wait a second?
Are you open to gags?
Perhaps.
Okay. I do have safe words that we use. So, like, red is a universal safe word amongst most places and most dungeons you would go to. So, that's a really easy one if you can say something. If you can't say something, usually anytime someone does anything of 3, and the main one that if you're gagged, it's like, 3 times. If you can't move your head, like, tap 3 times, and that would be a good signal for me to know. So now that we've talked about how you'd like to be tied up, I'd like to talk about what kind of things I can do to you while you're tied up. My limits today are no fluid exchange, but I'm happy to play with sensation with my hands on you.
Oh,
so
interesting.
not my mouth or my genitals, but just hands.
So that means both like hot, cold, and like touch, or
We could play with that. We do have some ice in the freezer.
oh,
Is that
well,
something that's interesting to you?
it's it's a little warm in here, so
Okay.
yeah, we'll try it. I'll try
Okay.
it.
Awesome.
I'll try anything twice.
I also have a couple of different toys with me that are impact toys that can be a little on the nicer side, where the impact can feel good, but it maybe not painful, and we can try it out and see if that's something you like.
One thing that I am concerned about is leaving marks.
Okay.
I'm a professional model and very, very famous, so I can't be walking around with, residual visual information.
Absolutely. We wouldn't even be doing anything close to giving you marks at this point.
Okay.
Especially considering you don't want that much pain.
Right.
Okay.
If at some point I decide this isn't enough, I want to go the opposite direction,
Mm-hmm.
is there a way to, say, jack it up to 11?
Absolutely. Let's just talk in plain English, and you can just ask for more.
What if I can't speak again?
I'll just take your gag out since it's the first time we're playing. I'd rather have explicit consent from you.
Okay.
For people I already have an established relationship with, there's like some signals that people can give to, go a little harder or give a little more. Sometimes when people are getting spanked, they like to wag their tail to ask for more.
Oh, wow.
Like shake their butt.
Sure.
Yeah. But since this is the first time we're playing, I feel most comfortable with you using your words. So I'll make sure that you're not gagged for that.
What happens if you're a professional?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure you are very aware of what happens when. Does anything ever, and this isn't a euphemism, slip in that maybe wasn't agreed on prior? And if so, like, what does that mean?
Absolutely. There might be a time where you didn't think of something, and I want to talk about your hard limits next, because there's things that you probably don't want me to do to you. Like, is there anything that you don't want, any words you don't want me to say or call you, names to call you, or anything particular that might, like, you just don't like? Like, a lot of people don't like to be tickled. That's not pain, but it's uncomfortable. Like, are there things like you don't, parts of your body you don't want to be touched? So I want to ask you that first, and then we can talk about what happens if that gets there.
All right. How do you keep track of all this stuff? I'm telling you things. I'm probably forgetting stuff. I'll loop back around. What do you do to keep track?
Well, I'm engaged with you right now. I'm trying to pay as much attention as I can. I am human. I could slip up, and that's where you would just talk to me and tell me, oh, remember, I don't like tickling. And in good faith, that's something that I wouldn't want to do, but, people do slip up, and there are mistakes. So that is a possibility. But, we just kind of impromptu sat here and started having a conversation. But if we had a little bit more lead time, we could use a checklist. And there's a lot of resources online where you can find checklists that you can adapt for yourself. The Bad Girls Bible has an amazing and comprehensive checklist that you could copy and adapt to the different things that you're particularly interested in doing with your partner. And you can list your interests from 1 to 6. You can say whether you're into receiving or not receiving. And just having it on paper is a great conversation starter. So it would have been nice, like we just kind of jumped into this right now. It would have been nice if like a week ago, we could have had a more advanced conversation. And with BDSM, the more you can talk with someone, the better. And that's what I'm saying, like in the middle, I might slip up. And it's not because I want to completely respect your boundaries. I want to be able to play with you again after this. I don't, it's like, I'm
awesome. I get it.
Exactly. Like I want you to leave having a good experience. So I'm gonna do my best to remember everything. But please, I am human. Let me know. Remind me if I'm doing something that's uncomfortable for you.
Okay. That sounds pretty easy.
So you didn't say any hard limits that.
My hard limits are around specific stuff, specific acts that I know I have no interest in, that either make me feel mentally uncomfortable or I have a feeling physically I just don't want to experience that. I know on the checklist that you just mentioned, some of these are specifically mentioned, so I would be marking a 0 for those guys.
Okay, great. Well, I will keep those things in mind. And now let's go over the safe words. We touched on it a little bit, but I want to be really explicit with safe words. So I know I said, since this is our first time playing, just talk to me directly. Like, oh, Five, I don't like that. Can we stop doing it? That's super helpful for me the first time we're playing, and I want to hear from you that way. But if you kind of want to stay in character, if we establish a little bit of rapport and it's fun, a fun little role play, and you want to stay in character, you can say red to completely stop the scene. And I will stop. I will check in with you and see if you need any adjustments. Or you can tell me like, oh, I actually don't like the bunny flogger or whatever, and we can adjust the scene accordingly. And then if you don't want to stop the scene at all, but you just kind of want to give me a hint to move on to something else or go a little bit lighter, you can say mercy. And that's just a signal for me to know to go on to something else or go a little bit lighter.
How long does this last?
Let's see. I have to leave in a couple of hours. I don't know. It really just depends on how much time you have available. If we're feeling good, I'm happy to go as long as we can until I have to leave. Or if you want to stick to an hour, I can put the timer on and then we can check in then.
There's enough variety in the stuff to keep it going, and you're a professional, so I guess this is what you do.
Yeah.
All right.
So you're happy? Do you want to just see how it goes and then wrap it up? Closer to when we have to leave.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I think as a new person, I'm open to suggestions as well.
Okay. Great.
So I don't know if that's a normal thing, but you teach me. I don't know what I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great. Well, we'll play it by ear. I'm going to want to leave some time before I leave you to do some aftercare. And aftercare basically is just something to reassure you that I care about you and that you're a good person, and to kind of bring you out of this role play scenario where maybe you went into a different headspace where maybe you were a little more submissive, or I was saying things to you, like maybe you were being a brat to me and then I was, calling you names back, and it's like, it's fine for the context of what we were doing, but we're going back to real life. So I'd leave some time for aftercare, and what would happen is I would untie you, get you comfortable, like back in your clothes, or if you have like a fuzzy robe or something that you're comfortable in, make sure you're hydrated, maybe give you a snack, maybe have some cuddle time. But whatever you might need to kind of come back to earth. It's also a good chance for me as a top to come back to earth as well, because I don't want to walk out into the world being like this crazy dominatrix yelling at everybody. But tops also need aftercare to avoid top drop.
Top drop.
That's sub drop and top drop are something that can happen after the scene because you had such a great time and then you're not in that world anymore.
Endorphin levels suddenly crashing. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay. Had a great time. I want to see you again. Mm-hmm. Do we go over the whole checklist again every time? What if something's changed with my physicality or what I'm into? How does that work?
Well, I think that communication, you can never over-communicate. So absolutely, we'll go through the list again. And just because you said you like tickling this time doesn't mean you're going to be in the mood for tickling next time. Also, your body's different every day. Like sometimes you're more tired. Sometimes you might be more sensitive. So that might change what we would be doing that day. Okay. And different partners are going to be different as well. Not not everybody's going to like the same thing. So it's always good to renegotiate your scenes every day or every time you play. Do you have any more questions for me?
Yes, but I think this was a really good intro, and I definitely feel more comfortable about knowing I can just ask the questions, say the things, and there's having a list of, again, what I don't know is really helpful for me. So thank you.
Great. Well, if you're ready to get started, we will just continue the conversation throughout the scene.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us for our BDSM negotiation. The link to the Bad Girls Bible checklist is in the description below. I'm FiveStar, this is Jordan, and this is Spank University.
Oh.
So say I'm tickling you, and you're like...
That's my mother's name.
Really?
No.
I'm so gullible. But yeah, you could say mercy.